Hey, welcome. So, if you hear the word cybersecurity and you immediately think of firewalls and the IT department, this explainer is definitely for you. We're going to break down why protecting a company's data is a critical job for everyone, from marketing to finance to the CEO. Let's jump right in. All right, take a look at this number, 74%. Now, according to Verizon's big annual data breach report, this number represents the percentage of security breaches that involve one specific, kind of unpredictable factor. That's right, people, the human element. And we're not talking about super hackers bypassing complex technology here. We're talking about simple mistakes, getting manipulated, just plain old human error. It is the single biggest factor in cybersecurity incidents, and it can happen to absolutely anyone. That statistic gets very, very real when you see what happened at Snapchat. This wasn't a technical problem, it was a psychological one. An employee got an email that looked like it was from their CEO, and boom, in an instant, sensitive payroll data for hundreds of people was just gone. It's a perfect example of how the real front line of defense isn't a server, it's a person sitting at a keyboard. So in this first section, we're going to dig into exactly why people have become the main target for attackers, and why every single employee is actually a vital part of a company's defense. And hey, if you thought 74% was high, check this out. A jaw-dropping 95% of data breaches can be traced back to human error as a root cause. This isn't just about falling for some obvious scam. It's about all the little mistakes that can accidentally open a door for an attack. And this really gets to the core of how modern attackers think. I mean, why would they spend weeks, maybe months, trying to break through digital walls when they can just persuade an employee to open the door for them? It's simple logic, right? They target us because people are often the path of least resistance. Just think about the difference in effort. Hacking a network? That's a tough technical battle. It takes a lot of work. But tricking an employee? Well, that's a psychological game. Attackers play on our natural sense of trust or urgency or even just our curiosity. It's a much simpler and, frankly, a much more effective way to get in. So, how exactly do these psychological games work in the real world? In this next section, we're going to pull back the curtain on the most common threats that target employees in pretty much every department. Okay, threat number one, the big one, is phishing. You've probably heard of it. These are those sneaky emails or texts or messages that look totally legit. They're all designed to do one thing, trick you. Trick you into clicking a bad link, opening a dangerous file, or giving away your password. So ask yourself this, honestly. Attackers just love to create a sense of urgency. Your account's about to be closed, or they appeal to our greed. Click here to claim your prize. These simple emotional triggers are shockingly good at making us just bypass our rational brain and click before we even think. And it goes way beyond just clicking on suspicious links. The human element also covers things like using weak passwords, or accidentally CCing the wrong person on a sensitive email, or falling for a fake invoice that looks like it came straight from your boss. Even something as simple as letting a stranger follow you into the office, tailgating, that's a security risk. Okay, so we've definitely seen the problem. Now let's flip this around and talk about the solution. This section is all about you, the employee, not as a risk, but as the most important line of defense a company has. I absolutely love this concept, a human firewall. It completely changes the conversation, doesn't it? It goes from risk and fear to empowerment. You're not the weakest link. You are a sensor, a defender, a critical piece of the security puzzle that technology just can't replace. And every single department has a unique role to play here. HR, for example, handles incredibly sensitive employee data, and they're crucial for security training. The finance department, they're on the front lines, fighting off invoice fraud and verifying every single payment request. And marketing and sales, they're the guardians of all that precious customer data. You see, security really is a team sport. Now, a culture like this has to start at the top. Leadership needs to champion security as a shared mission for everyone. But your role is just as critical. You are the eyes and ears on the ground. When you see something that just feels off, a weird email, a stranger wandering the halls, reporting it to IT right away is one of the most powerful things you can do. So what does this all look like in your day-to-day work life? Well, this next section is the practical part of our explainer. We're giving you the 5 core habits that everyone can build to become a much better defender. At the end of the day, this all comes down to just a few key habits. Number 1, and it's the most important, think before you click. Just pause for a second, that's it. Second, use strong passwords and something called multi-factor authentication everywhere you can. Third, protect your devices and data. Lock your screen when you walk away. Be careful with sensitive files. Fourth, keep your software updated. Those little pop-ups are there for a reason. They often have critical security fixes. And finally, number 5, don't be afraid to ask for help. Know your company's security rules and never ever hesitate to ask IT if you're not sure about something. And look, this isn't just a nice idea. The proof is right there in the data. Companies that actually invest in making their people more security aware see a massive, I'm talking a 70% drop in security incidents. Your awareness and your actions have a huge, measurable impact. It really works. All right, let's bring this all home. Building a human firewall is really about shifting our whole mindset about security, from it being some individual chore to it being a collective mission we're all on together. It really boils down to a choice between two ways of thinking. The old way sees people as the weakest link, where one little mistake can bring the whole house down. But the new, much more powerful way of thinking sees a human firewall, a whole team of informed, alert people creating a defense that is so much stronger and more flexible than any technology by itself. This quote from our source material just says it all perfectly. Empowerment through knowledge, that's the secret sauce. When you understand the threats and you know your role, you stop being a potential target and you become the company's greatest defensive asset. So here's the ultimate takeaway. Cybersecurity is not someone else's job. It's not just an IT chore. It's a shared responsibility, a shared value. And when everyone takes ownership, you build a stronger, safer, and way more trustworthy company for everybody, employees and customers alike. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. In a world full of digital threats, technology is only ever going to be part of the answer. So the real question is, could the most powerful, the most adaptable, and the most intelligent part of your company's defense be you?